let's start with the final review of the year. Hello guys, one more time and welcome to Ring Royalty. My name is Alexis, as you already know, and today we're going to review the final pay-per-view of 2020, that is WWE TLC. We have two women's matches to review, but before talking about that, I want to give a highlight to WWE because overall, including men matches, I think this was one of the biggest pay-per-views of the whole year. It was so amusing. You got to admit that this was a spectacular show. So props to WWE. As you know, here I only review women's matches, so for that reason we're going to discuss only Sasha Banks against Carmella for the SmackDown Women's Championship and Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax against Asuka and someone for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Without further ado say, let's start with this very interesting review. The first match of the night was for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The Boss, the Blueprint, the Standard Sasha Banks defended her Women's Championship against the untouchable Carmella and her Somalia's manager. Right. I gotta tell you guys that the promo before the match got me really hyped. I forgot that this feud has been done nicely so far. And another thing that I want to highlight before talking about the match itself will be the attires. Carmella's and Sasha's in-ring attires were on point, they were serving. I mean, as we all know, Sasha always delivers, but this time Carmella was not far behind. Anyways, let's focus on the match. So I think the first thing that I got to say is that it was a fresh match. We haven't really seen Carmella going against Sasha one-on-one before, besides the SmackDown Women's title match they had a couple weeks ago, but we know they were not at 100% because it was not a pay-per-view, so they were saving the best for TLC. Besides being a fresh match, I always appreciate Sasha Banks' matches because she always incorporates new maneuvers to keep everything unexpected. And we had that amazing arm drag outside the ring that she did on Carmella. Really well done. It was creative. She hasn't done it before. Another thing that I want to point out is the mean streak that Carmella had here. It was something that she was lacking of, and in my opinion, even though she has been a heel before, I think this is the best she's ever looked in ring wise. So I have to give props to Carmella. She's been busting her ass in training probably while she was out of action. It was so nice to see that she got new maneuvers and more aggressive ones to be toe-to-toe with the Boss. The Somali was such a good addition, especially in the early going when they had that spot outside the ring with Carmella's Hurricanrana on the outside on Sasha Banks. I think it was very creative. It added to Carmella's Divas character because she was trying to find sneaky ways to win, and that's what her character is all about, so she's doing it right. Also, I love some spots in this match because this match was very spotty, and one of them was Sasha Banks' tribute to Eddie Guerrero with the Three Amigos follow up by the Frog Splash. I thought that it was obvious that Carmella was gonna kick out, but it really added to the feel of the match. I really appreciate that. One move that I considered was devastating and I was very surprised was when Sasha was trying to do that tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, but instead Carmella blocked and finished in a face buster that spiked Sasha Banks on the floor, and that was such an aggressive move. And the face buster is usually a very average move. I mean, thousands of people have done that in the past, but somehow they made it look devastating in this spot, so I really appreciate that. And speaking of viciousness, we talked about Carmella's mean streak earlier, how she's been stepping up her game with those elbows on the corner that look devastating, and also her more aggressive moveset, but the ending of this match was vicious too because that bank statement was so badass. I mean, it looked like Carmella was going to break, literally. It was so good, it was so smooth, and by blocking Carmella's face buster to lock in the bank statement and literally make Carmella's back bend backwards in a way that I cannot describe was such an amazing and fitting ending for this match. I think Sasha is really stepping up her game. Despite she's been an amazing performer for years, I think this title reign is suiting her so well, really giving her the chance to be in the spotlight and show everything that she can do. For me, it's unreal how many ways Sasha can lock in the bank statement. There are so many, and all of them are amazing. Most of them are unexpected, so you never know when she's gonna lock it in. And the factor of unpredictability is what makes matches special most of the time. So Sasha Banks retains. She's still our SmackDown Women's Champion. I'm so happy that the curse of no title defenses is over. The SmackDown Women's Championship has never looked better because the boss is the one wearing it now. However, Carmella losing doesn't mean that she didn't look amazing in this match as well. I think she brought her A game, and it was a very, very entertaining match that made both of them look strong. Probably Carmella is not going to get another title match, but we aren't sure yet. I would have loved to see this match probably be a no disqualification match after the champagne incidents that we had a couple weeks ago on SmackDown. Then again, it was a really amusing match, so no complaints. Very, very well done. A really entertaining match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The second and final women's match of the night was Shayna defending the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against Asuka and a mystery partner. Let's remember that Lana was taken out this past Monday. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I was really starting to get into Lana's character and babyface turn. Then again, I don't know, I'm going to tell you this because I love women's wrestling and I've watched it for several years, decades maybe, and I've never found a woman I disliked until Nia Jax appeared on my screen, and I have no idea why, but I despise her. I think she's just I cannot even describe it with words, but she annoys the heck out of me. Nia Jax is a woman that probably most people dislike, and for that reason she could be a good heel, and anyone can become a babyface when she's on the other side of the ring. So I'm saying all of this because Asuka's mystery partner was none other than the returning Charlotte Flair. The Queen is back in WWE, and it makes sense that Charlotte Flair returned as a face for two reasons. The first one being that she was kayfabe taken out of action by Nia Jax during the summer in that backstage attack, and second of all because, like I mentioned, Nia Jax is so despised by many fans that Charlotte Flair could easily get a babyface pop when Nia Jax was her opposition. The final thing I want to say before we start talking about the match itself is that even though most people maybe are going to disagree with this, but I miss Charlotte Flair. She looked gorgeous, she brings the elegance to the ring, and also she's an amazing athlete. Love her or hate her, I mean, I know she's overpushed, and you can see my opinion about that in this video over here that is the top 5 overrated women's in wrestling history. She's overpushed, but she is really good, and that is undeniable. One of the best performances WWE has ever had, male or female. It was nice to see her in the ring. I don't know how to feel about her teaming up with Asuka, but more on that later. So the match started and it was nothing special for the first couple minutes, I guess. Pretty standard tag team match despite the participants in the match being pretty strong names. The only spots that I would like to highlight probably are Shayna Baszler's submissions. I mean, she has a unique way to contort the body of her opponent and manipulate the joints in ways that we haven't seen before, that she definitely deserves a shout out for that. Another nice thing was when Shayna was trying to prevent Asuka from making the tag to Charlotte and tried to do a dirty trick, a sneak attack on the Queen on the apron, but she was ready and clocked her with a forearm. Very interesting, very nice. I mean, Charlotte Flair is the dirtiest player in the game when it comes to the women's division, so you're not gonna get the Queen with one of those tricks. And once again, the moonsault. Charlotte Flair, probably after Io Shirai, has one of the most spectacular moonsaults in the business. The match was nothing special, like I said, and the ending wasn't as spectacular either. So Charlotte Flair pinned Shayna Baszler after a natural selection that didn't look that impressive. I mean, I've got to admit that. I'm not sure if it was the selling, but it didn't look as good as some other times. To crown herself and Asuka as the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. So let's see. I know that you're going to say that Charlotte and Asuka's tag team doesn't make any sense and is really random, but if you think about it, Shayna and Nia are on the same boat. They don't really match, and for me it's disrespectful that WWE tries to make Nia Jax an irresistible force, and for that reason make Shayna take all the pins in their losses. Have you noticed that Shayna Baszler is the one that gets pinned each and every time they lost? And for me that's uncalled for, because Shayna Baszler, whether you would like to admit it or not, is a way better wrestler than Nia Jax. I mean, she has so many signature moves, submissions, the cure for the clutch that is a pretty believable finisher, and then what does Nia have beside a leg drop and a Samoan drop? Exactly. So we got brand new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, probably the Empress Queen, the Royal Team, the Royal Girls, something like that is going to be their name, because I mean, it would be accurate. I'm not mad at it. I mean, I was bored of Shayna and Nia's title reign by now, to be honest. I remember how I applaud the way they won the titles at Payback in my review that I'm gonna leave over here too. But it was just way too much. I thought they were going to have a short reign and maybe feud later on. They just probably fixed all their problems and somehow decided to be a tag team and not fight or argue anymore. Are Asuka and Charlotte going to have a long title reign? We don't know about that. I'm pretty sure that Charlotte's going to face Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship in the next couple months. So I'm not sure if this partnership is going to last. But besides that, now we have Asuka's double champion, and Charlotte Flair became a Grand Slam champion to join Asuka, Bayley and Sasha in that privileged list of women's wrestlers. So I guess after all, some history was made in this match. The only thing that I dislike, but probably is not going to change, is that the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships are always going to be in hands of random teams instead of actual and already established tag teams in the division. Apparently that's not going to change, so I won't even bother to complain about it anymore. Okay, so this was my review for WWE TLC 2020, the final pay-per-view of the year. So I have no complaints besides probably the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships being held and defended by random tag teams, but I mean, it's not going to change, so why would I bother? It was a very amusing pay-per-view overall, so go watch it if you haven't. And once again, I want to thank you for your support. I know I mentioned this in all of my videos, but it's important for me to show my gratitude to all of you. This channel would not be possible without you, so thank you very much. And I also want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. I'm going to try to upload one more video before the end of the year, but I know it won't be up before Christmas, so I'm gonna say that right now. I hope that you enjoy this time with your family and your loved ones. Try to stay safe. I know that right now we're in a pandemic and some countries are in quarantine, but try to have fun as much as you can. This will be it for this video. My name is Alexis, as you already know. Here is my Instagram if you want to text me or say Merry Christmas. Everything is appreciated, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much, and I send everyone a big kiss. Bye!